Perfect. I do not think we have like a packed agenda, but if anyone can see if there's items we that are listed for us to discuss, that would be good. How does the agenda work? They pop in here when people fill in the form, or it's empty, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any agenda items today. We do have the proposals that we can talk about. Specifically the BSC transaction fee adjustment. That one didn't result well, like it didn't pass.
I think it was a good proposal in that like it attends to a topic that's important. We discussed it in the last DAO a little bit, and I think we came up with a few possible improvements to do. So I guess that's why it didn't pass. Like there's a few things like the fee is there's a few things that could be done better. But I do think it was a good trial just to see how people feel about it. But I think an iteration of it would be needed for it to pass.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and I also thought your comment, Alex, was on point as well.
Yeah, that's the primary reason I voted no. I'm not on. I believe it's a good idea to create fees that incentivize migration to EOS over time, because currently the way things work, I've noticed that workers using EOS occasionally you notice a worker's like having problems, and usually it's like not having enough RAM, right? And we give them some support, but they have to pay for this RAM themselves, and it cuts into their wages basically from doing the tasks. While in some ways it will be helpful that the full cost is like factored into the Binance Smart Chain wallet users as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think last time we discussed a possible solution where there's going to be an additional fee on the payout that's incurred to the worker side. I think that would work better to reach this like the same goal that's described here. So I think it something will be possible there if we work out a little bit better. But I agree with DJ that it shouldn't be on the side of the requester right now.
Yeah. I specifically liked as well, indeed, the amount that I stated was maybe a bit too much as well.
Yeah. It will be configurable. I guess all these amounts, even the fees, they can be adjusted with ATP. So this would also be a configurable amount. But for the initial value, we would have to. I think it's better to start a bit lower to make sure it's aligned with the network goals and functions.
Yeah, agreed. But it was also nice to see that people actually voting no. There was a while that everybody was just voting yes all of the time. And I was worried that people were just kind of not even reading the proposals properly and just voting yes in order to kind of mine EFX or just claim the fees. So
same here. I was kind of happy to see people were critical on because we have had like every proposal passed in the last few months. I think so. Sure, that's a nice change of color.
But okay.
It also shows how the comment feature is actually pretty useful because I can explain why I voted no.
Yeah, it is, and I like how I think Miguel made this that it renders above the list, which is nice, so you don't have to click on anything, and it's really clear. It helps a lot with considering the implications. Yes, that's me. All right, nice. We're actually right now, David and me are using a new version of the dashboard. We've been slowly like polishing and adding features and making it nicer. So maybe this link has already been shared before. Maybe we can just share it in this call because we're kind of happy with it now. This is just a sort of alternative version of the current dashboard with different layout, bit of a different navigation. Is important because I ended up missing the call a few times and just, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, but it's nice to have like at the top of the page just clearly stated what time does it start and how do you add an item to the agenda. I think it will give people an easier entrance to see out, be more inviting to them to join this call.
Oh yeah, that's
so
nice.
Yeah, it's minor updates, but it's nice to share. So if you're if you're looking at the dashboard, you can use this alternative link. I think this is ready to be merged. So I think we'll just go for it pretty soon.
Yeah, or if anybody has any comments or suggestions, we're also open to hearing about them and incorporating them.
Yeah,
we've also added we've also added the ability to add an NFT as your profile picture.
Yeah, so if you go to the members page, then you will see like the HighGuard members and also other members, but the HighGuards, some of them have an NFT profile picture, so it gives just a little. You can use, for example, your Pomelo avatar there.
I see, that's nifty. Oh, and I see you moved the socials page to the resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been revamping the menu a little bit. The main problem was that it was just too many buttons there, and we felt like it was nicer there. Like if you look at the page layout, it's totally open for of course it's open source and it's open for feedback. I know the resources were added by a merge request later, but we wanted to have less steps. We're still considering to sort of merge maybe staking and members, because in the top of members you have your vote power. So we're still, at least I would be in favor of merging that somehow to have like less pages. I want people that come in to don't give them too many things to click, but just make sure it's very condensed into what's important. But open. We're completely open for feedback. And merging the socials and resources, I think makes sense. We can discuss what should be on top as well, but
the only thing just coming spontaneously is it's a very minor thing, but maybe the boxes need their headers to be bolded so they're a bit more prominent.
Oh, right. I agree. On the resources page, right? Token map, stats, resources. Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe like on the website you have the totals, right? For
the distribution of EFX.
Yeah, like there's the the circulating and not circulating. Could add that.
Yeah.
Indeed, that would also make sense to put it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play around with the NFT stuff later today.
One other idea that was thrown around was to incorporate your calculator, DJ.
It's on resources, isn't it? Or it's not? Oh, no, it's not in resources.
Oh, did you do that? Or is that just an idea you have?
Yeah, it's an idea that we had, that it would be useful to actually incorporate it into the dashboard itself, instead of having it be a page somewhere else.
Yeah, you could integrate it. The only thing is I haven't updated it in a while. It still needs one last update, and in that I made it before the fee pool was actually like that we had the fee, sent to the feed pool, so I didn't have like that set up to calculate that. So we'll need a little bit of updating there. So I think it's really like a niche thing.
Okay.
I think at the very least we put it in the resources, but it would be nice if we can have it on the staking page somehow embedded, but or link to it. Because it's very useful and nice to highlight. So and incorporate maybe in the code base itself, if that's like, yeah, like someone suggested this, I think.
Yeah,
it was Miguel on GitHub. Oh, we got it. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the DAO refresh of the current layout. Next topic, maybe nice to highlight, is that we will be doing a Twitter Spaces with Ocean Protocol.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So that's a nice one. I think their data like marketplace, decentralized. They have a really big community as well. They're really cool people, and their product is very, I think, related to what we're doing. So it will be very, very interesting spaces about data, creating high quality data sets for AI. And like, I still really believe that it will be a good fit where DJ, you even, I think, proposed this once, but we've discussed this a few times over, but where we create a connection between creating a data set on Effect Network and publishing that on Ocean Protocol. I think that like we're at a place where that could really be a very nicely integrated solution for building data sets and then monetizing on data sets. So I'm really excited for the spaces together with them. We'll definitely touch on these subjects, and I'm just thinking about it. I already get inspired for possible ways to create a direct connection between Ocean Protocol and Effect Network, for example. If we're building a data set with a certain use case, and then to monetize that data set on another platform, and to actually using the data set to train AI on the platform, I think that's sort of the ecosystem of Web3 based solutions for training and using an AI. It's just very, really close to home for us. So and definitely tune in on the Twitter Spaces tomorrow, because it's going to be a nice one, I think.
Yeah, I'm very happy you got it. I'm looking forward to it. I completely agree on Ocean Protocol integration. I think being able to build the data sets and just plop it right up on there for monetization or just distribution, I think would be great.
Yeah, it's good that you're mentioning it. Like, I'll do a little Discord shout out as well to and also join it from our side.
Yeah, Ocean Protocol is a big community as well, so it's a nice way also to explain what we're doing and get more attention to Effect Network, and it's just a really good fit. So I'm happy we get the opportunity now to get more eyes on it and to start working on this idea. And I mean, this is the direction where we're going. So data sets are the most important part to make good AI, right? We're getting right now even in a place where AI is being trained too much on AI data, which I think, DJ, you shared again some really nice articles. That's like the collapse of AI, where it sort of becomes an echo chamber of trading on itself, which doesn't give new and desirable outputs. So human data is really important, and we're in that, exactly in that spot, and being able to create data sets, high quality data sets, human powered quickly, and being able to put that in a marketplace, and being able, for example, to train LoRa's, so you can actually take your base model like Llama, and then put a LoRa on it that sort of makes it really specific, and maybe even personalized weight diffs on these models to get like custom versions of that. I think Effect Network is at the right place to like we're covering all of that. Even going from a data set to a weights LoRa, for example, is something we should be looking at, and looking at how to monetize on data sets is something that should be part of Effect Network, and we need to make this as easy as it can for any AI researcher or developer to make these to enhance to get better experiences and better results by using human data. It's I think this is where we need to zoom into, like the next avenue, like what we're going to develop will be definitely around these topics to make sure it's going to be a breeze to use human quality data to enhance AI experiences is I think the sweet spot. That's where the puck is going. That's where the market is going, and I feel that's where we're positioning right now to be.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, that article really underlines that with Chat GPT, it had kind of like the advantage where it could assume most content on the internet was not AI generated. But as soon as they published ChatGPT, like the first thing I saw was people making these spam blogs with just AI generated content, trying to get ad revenue clicks, right? And so that's still happening. Like right now, there's the amount of information on the internet is probably going to just skyrocket even further now because it's so easy to generate content and try to trick people into thinking it's good, content. Which, I mean, some of it definitely will be, but a lot of it will just be like kind of like, just it's like spam will become better, and it will be harder to just scrape the data you want from the internet. Along with that, a lot of sites that have other sources, like I think Reddit, for example, is now charging for the API, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident it's because they don't want to just have the AI scrapers take their data.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And we're going to a place where the majority of internet content is going to be AI generated. I think pretty soon the shift is going really quick, and soon the majority of content will be AI generated, and it will be very hard to tell if it is or not, if it hasn't been AI generated. So for training new models, it's scraping the internet isn't going to be your go-to, like it's not going to work well. So if we have proven quality human generated data set, which is what we do, we on chain we can show the origin and the trace of the data set and prove that it's been, at least this amount has been human generated, and maybe even combine it with AI generated content in a way that is the most efficient to train your models. I think it will be a very valuable commodity to have human generated quality data, and there will be a real need for it. So if we can prove these things, I think there's definitely going to be a big demand for these data sets.
One problem I do foresee is that people will be using AI models in order to generate their answers. Like that's already a problem that Amazon Mechanical Turk is bumping into right now. Apparently, around 40% of their submissions they suspect to be generated with AI tools.
Was this published somewhere, or did I mention this?
Yeah.
I'd like to read that. That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah. I'll share a link in the Discord. But yeah, so like that will be a hurdle, I think, for us as well. So we'll have to figure out a way of how we create the tools necessary in order to prove that indeed everything is human generated instead of like also generated with the help of AI tools.
I think a large part of that will also be like community and being able to show that we work with people, right? And we have on-chain, like if we have on-chain audit trails of where data origins from, we will be able to detect like the percentage of bots and like being able to attest that you're human is going to be an important part. And there's a lot of protocols and things working on identification of people, like like WorldCoin. I don't know if you know this. It's from actually the founder of OpenAI, from Sam Altman, and it does iris scans to verify humans. But like there's people working on it, and I think having a blockchain to show that someone is human, to have that sort of degree of certainty about it, and being able to reflect on chain how much of a data set was generated by humans, is going to give that sort of trust, and it's going to be able to solve that problem, as opposed to where if it's Amazon Mechanical Turk, they don't have that degree of transparency, so you do not know really you cannot really prove these things, I feel. So
Yeah.
I think it's something we're trying to solve. It's definitely going to be a hard thing to detect bots, but I think transparency is the solution for it in the end.
Okay.
But if you can share the article, that would be nice. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that AI, in a sense, is gonna be a supplementary tool. It's almost gonna be the equivalent as just of workers, doing like a Google search, right? So really, it's not that we want workers to use AI. We just still want them to use their brain to contribute to the answer, right? We don't want them just mindlessly inputting it, just like we don't want them to treat it like they're just a manual API, right? We want to use their brain.
Yes.
Yeah. Indeed, or like at least refine the answer to a point where it is usable, or they can work out the kinks of the output that they're getting from their Google search or using the GPT tool that they're using.
Yeah. So with that, I think we talked about this before. A rotation system, I think, would help with that, because really what people want is the good results. And so if a worker can deliver the results, it's all right if they use like AI as a supplement, but they also have to validate the results themselves. It's like similar in programming, where like you don't want a programmer who only uses ChatGPT, but if they use it to generate some quick stuff that's tedious, and then they just kind of code review it, that's faster and better.
Yeah, for sure.
True. And so for the hackathon, how are we going to then pitch this angle? Are we gonna because I think the hackathon might be a good moment to try to start incorporating some of these tools as well, or like try to inspire other people as well to start building these kinds of tools that use Effect Network and other AI technologies or Ocean Protocol. We haven't specifically talked about yet the categories that we want for the hackathon, but that might be a way of trying to inspire the participants to also go a little bit into this direction that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, we haven't it's maybe we can move on to the hackathon yet. We haven't pinned down. We have a draft proposal, and I think we're going in the right direction. We have a few potential partners. Gabi isn't here, but she will give us an update soon on the exact status. But I think it would be a great, creating a data set. I'm like that. That's sort of the angle I'm leaning towards as a topic, like to create a data set. And we can put some restrictions around what the data set should involve or how big it should be. But just structuring a data set using Effect Network that might be, and even looking at tooling to interoperate that with existing platforms or toolings like Ocean Protocol or any other AI platform, I think would be a great angle. It can either be one of the topics, or it could be like the topic to create a data set. With maybe AI related, maybe ChatGPT related, maybe, but some data set that's going to add stuff to a certain model and use Effect Network to build it. And we can give maybe people even some budget to some EFX budget from our AI fund or from another funding source, but to give them some budget to run tests on the platform to create our data sets. That's sort of where I was leading towards, but that might be a nice topic.
Yeah. I'm also thinking that might potentially be a good overarching topic as well. And there's a lot of hype happening around it at the moment. I'm a little bit afraid that there's going to be a lot of competition in the hackathon market at the moment for other hackathons vying for attention of other developers. That there won't be a lot of attention on our hackathon, but that might be a good angle then to just really focus on that specific topic instead of breaking it down into smaller topics that people can build something on top of.
Yeah, and for this hackathon, I think this is also DJ mentioned it before, and I think it really resonates, and it's important that it shouldn't be like a one-off. So I don't think it's even if there's a lot of competition, we might have some trouble there. We might get little submissions because of that. But I think we need to aim for doing like 3 hackathons, sort of spaced in a way that makes sense, and we can learn from the mistakes in other hackathons and maybe to pick a topic that's more inviting or that's more current. But also it would mean that if we happen to have a lot of competition in one hackathon, then in the next one we would like if you do more hackathons, you will have less of the timing issues when it comes to competition.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I've been pushing since I joined the DAO, right? And
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think having semi-frequently, and then the prize pool, we can keep it. I don't think it needs to be big enough that it attracts interest, but we don't need it to be super big because the timing is we can't know what other hackathons would be happening at the same time, and so it's like like when movies release, right? Sometimes you just publish a movie right when a big blockbuster hit is out, and then that just impacts your profits. So you can't really control that. So the more you release, the more it averages out in participation, I guess.
Yeah, good point. Exactly. So we'll have to keep an eye out on Dora Hacks to see which hackathons are happening that specific week that we are also vying for submissions.
And I agree with the category. I think building datasets is I think the main we can effect that work can have now. While workers can be done for other human tasks, the socials and stuff. Like I think that, like for example, Abdo's catalog, which is now QuickCat project, in a sense got depreciated because the categorization now can be done much better, basically with ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a risk in trying to make a human focused tool because there's already like new models keep pumping in every time I check, the models are even better, and there's now sites where you can buy cards of not buy, but like you can download like personality cards of various characters, historical or fictional, and then you can like import them into like Silly Tavern and like have a talk with them. Like there's so much innovation going on that I think the solid bet is just building datasets now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's definitely, and that's great to have as a topic for the hackathon.
Yeah.
Like where I think we're going is what I think would be currently the killer feature for Effect Network is if you could just pick a base model. Maybe you pick like Llama, the base model or weights, and you basically define a task on. It's a text model, so you define some text-based task, and you should be able to end up with like a LoRa that specializes that model to a specific topic. And I think we need to make it we need to integrate with a lot of tools and make sure that the export from our platform matches with the imports of the other platforms. So you get quite easily to a specialized model. And there's so many open source tooling. DJ, you've shared quite a bit, and there's all these tools popping up, these frameworks, and like the Silly Tavern where you can easily try out and play with models. It needs to fit in there. We need to give people that user interface to get quality, fresh human data that they can use to tune their models. I think that if we fill that spot, I think it's where all the attention now is going. And I think if we make the hackathon revolve around data flows and data sets, that's where we're gonna get some traction for also the future. And to have to because it requires experimentation and it requires people to try new things, and I think that's exactly where the hackathons are for. So people can experiment. They will come up with some ways to create data sets. They will come up with some ways to integrate it into like these platforms like Yeah.
I do think data sets aren't necessarily sexy, so we do need to like kind of convey the importance of data sets and how important they are in training in AI models, and how it's a piece of the pipeline that we're trying to.
I don't know. I think LoRa's are really sexy. I think there's these websites. They're booming. They're selling like these specialized these weight diffs on existing models that can, for example, when it comes to computer vision, they can do a really specific type of visual, and you put it on top of your model, and it creates all these outputs. And they're also there now for text.
Okay.
Maybe a specific accent or
think
like a
we
very
just need
specific
to-
thing.
Continue. How is the LAION volunteer we're going? Those OCR recognition tasks.
Yeah, we've bumped into issues there. Like we did a few rounds of the annotations. We bumped into issues. We did quite a few updates. The template has gotten pretty pretty advanced, but it's getting better and better. At the moment, we're still working on the validation interface. So Rochelle is actually leading this campaign, so she's been managing the results, but she ran into some issues where she couldn't inspect the results properly, and she needed some more UI elements. And I have not seen I think we ran the last data set we ran. I have not seen the results. I don't know if you can comment on them, Rochelle. But we need a few more improvements. It's working. It's progressing, and we're getting there. But yeah,
I think this. Yeah, I think following up with LAION and being active volunteers, building these data sets, I think will be very, very important to establishing this image that basically all these communities, we need to be a part of them and contribute to them. Not only just for the interests of Effect Network, but I think just in general. In AI, we are part of the open source movement, right? Everything Effect Network has done is open source, and I think so should the data sets we build, and they will help just kind of advertise that we exist and we do this.
I can give a short update to elaborate on what Jesse said about the OCR tasks. The task template that he built out, it was
Hold on, David, your mic kind of echoes, Rochelle.
Oh, that's what that is.
Go ahead.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. I ran a few campaigns of tasks with a small pool of trusted workers, and I had considerable chats with a few of them about the task itself, as far as, was it easy to complete, the instructions, was it easy to navigate and actually do the work, and those results were very successful. So the worker experience is good. The task window and the task itself works well. The part that we're at now is getting the validation part right, to make sure that we can get the quality of results that they're looking for. So like Jesse said, we need a few UI updates for me for the validation part, and then I think we'll have a lot of traction to move forward. That was my update about them.
Sounds good, because it sounds like once you get all these things worked out, you can scale it up for like even bigger.
Yeah, exactly. It's just getting it right from the beginning, just to make sure there's no like crazy bugs that we'll uncover later that will like completely derail it. So yeah, it's going good.
Great, and I think this AI fund, I think, will be very good for this. I've noticed in the LAION, they have other occasional requests for help doing stuff. So once this is ironed out, I think we can also participate in other ways, and hopefully all of this establishes kind of a relationship that's very positive.
Yeah, definitely, and we're gonna make that's why it's an important trial what we're doing now, and also to showcase that the AI fund works and we can prove that it scales. So it's we'll make sure that this trial gets we really give it a shot and come up with good results, and we learn from all the like things little problems we had or quality issues. We need to make sure we get we identify what they are and how we can avoid them in the future. So then this will be quite scalable. And of course, it's the core product, right? It's creating datasets for AI. So we need to make sure that it becomes really easy and clear for people to run campaigns and get the proper data back in their system.
Yeah, it's you mentioned LoRa's. Like I only have a surface level because I know I can use LoRa's when I play around with Stable Diffusion, and I can use it's like you have this general model, and then the LoRa's is like more specific stuff that allows you to like get more what you want.
Yeah, exactly. They're like specifically for these models, but they're basically very small weight diffs on top of existing models that give you desired outputs, and you can stack them together. So you can add multiple LoRa's. They're really cool. They came out of this open source community, like from Hugging Face, and there's some markets on there that I've been browsing a bit, and there's really big markets for people creating LoRa's for specific things. So they run on human data, right? A LoRa has this like to train it, you need to give a data set, and then it creates this they train pretty fast, and they give you basically a weight diff that you can stack on top of these base models. It's a pretty cool concept that I don't know if it's the final part, like it's really new, so I don't know if it's the final part of training AI or if there's a new thing gonna pop up. But I do believe that human data is that essence that fuels these personalizations that people really love to play around with at the moment. So we could definitely make Effect Network part of it.
Yeah, I think it would be great if you could just like self-serve yourself something, like you want a LoRa's for something, and then the workers just build it for you. Though I don't know, that probably has a lot of complexity involved, since I assume you also have to do the compute, which I think would be the tricky part. But the data definitely can be generated by Effect Network.
Yeah, and there's all these tools for doing the compute. So of course you need a GPU, or you need to tap into a cloud provider for your GPU power. But there's these these platforms now for training these. So you put in the base model, you put in the data, and it comes up with a new model. Like there's these really nice open source solutions for it. So my next hunch would be to look at those platforms and see if Effect Network could just be a data source basically for that training. And of course there would still need to be compute and there's more elements in the stack, but feeding the data would be exactly where we fit right now. Maybe we can even do more parts of that, but for now, feeding human data would be great.
Yeah, as you said, I think exportability is the most important, because there are all these open source tools, and they're not going to want to use just Effect Network like by itself. But if it could be a tool to generate the data, and they can just import it into their favorite tool, that makes things much easier for them. Yeah, all this sounds very good.
Exactly.
That's also a place, I think, where you can potentially start thinking about having it as a paid feature, having that compatibility with other providers, and then having people who want to export and import that data into their those specific tools pay then for that specific feature.
maybe down the line, it always starts free, you know. All the best tools, they always start free until they have a bunch of users, then they increase the prices.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's surprising how big Hugging Face has become, starting off as a free tool anybody can use.
And workers need to get paid, but right now we can use the AI fund to really to bootstrap and start off, and like experimentation is key. I think we shouldn't be afraid, and we should really try to do as many types of data sets and to explore, because if we need to find that need where people need data, that's where we need to find our spot. So I think it's like we don't have to worry too much about the cost of it, because with AI fund we can bootstrap it, and of course workers need to get paid to get quality data, but right now we need to make sure we find the people that really need it, and we make it so convenient for them that they don't think twice about using a fact network and buying some data there, and then the convenience of the purchase in the end it just goes to the workers, right? And a little bit of the fee goes to the DAO. So
and down the line, if you build like an app for this, you could just abstract away even the tokens, kind of like with QuickCat, where you just used just an API where they just paid money, really, and then it was used to buy EFX in the backend, and so that way they don't even have to deal with the crypto part.
yeah, I think that part will be quite doable, like where people can pay in euros and the payment processor will get a little bit of fee in that thing, but then it will just get converted to EFX, and you don't have to worry about the crypto side as a client. I think we're getting there. I think that will be definitely doable.
How close are you to that?
I mean, if you want to do like right now, any person could help out. If someone would come to me and say, "Hey, I have 500 euros and I would like to do a data annotation," I think any person could sort of help out to convert that. If you're looking at massive data sets that wants to scale, you can still. EFX has quite a bit of liquidity, so I don't think there's too much. There is some human effort involved and some trust involved to convert from fiat to EFX, but I think any service provider could basically do that, because it's just going to an exchange and swapping the money and making sure the legalities are all in check. For whatever jurisdiction the financial transaction takes place. But on the liquidity side, I think we're there, and on the service providing side, I mean, if this happens a lot and at scale, you would want to look at partnering with MoonPay or partnering with some providers, and they will be happy to do that if there's the volume for it, to make this completely automated. So I think that's a part of. I don't see that part as a problem at the moment.
Yeah, I think for what we need now really is just to get attention and show off we can do this, because I've yet to see any project that's like so specialized in what Effect Network is doing. So we just need to show that it can do it.
Welcome, Bree, by the way. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Happy to
Hi. I spoke before, but it didn't sound, so I had to leave, recheck in, all that stuff. I had a few things and I wish I'd written them down as I was listening, but why can't we have that gateway to fiat like the Spotify app right now? What's is it complicated, or like why
You meant Shopify?
Well, not Shopify itself. Well, what's the app's name? Like my mind is just mush right now.
You mean like QuickCat?
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, what he's doing is, since those are QuickCat's clients using his plugin, he is doing the conversions himself. They're paying him in fiat to his account, and then he's buying EFX on the back end for it.
Yeah,
So
I understand the mechanics of it.
yeah,
I'm just, if we really want to get out there, there's a lot of data set builders right now who are not using crypto, right?
yeah, but that comes down to, okay, a real life bank account, hooked to an exchange account. There's taxes, there's reporting involved, and like for me, I personally would not want to do all of the fiat to EFX stuff platform wide for Effect Network, because then there's a tax liability that I have to deal with, So that's why I wouldn't do it. And as a company or as a DAO, there's some things that would need to be in place. So that's why Jesse said it's better if we have a lot of volume, then go with a company like MoonPay that specializes in it, that's already had, their regulatory and compliance and infrastructure set up to deal
Right.
with
Okay.
all of that.
All right.
So that's why we're not going to spend a lot of time and resources making that now when there's no volume, when first we just have to get established and have people using it.
Okay.
But it is getting better, though. I think 2 years ago, this was a very big problem, but now there's a lot of companies making big strides. Like fiat on and off ramping is becoming better. Like Stripe has a really good service right now. Like if we would have to build this like soon, which I think like if people really need it, then we will build that soon. And you could use Stripe to basically get EOS into someone's crypto wallet, and then we just use the liquidity pool on DeFi bucks to switch that to EFX and put that in the fee account. Like all of that would be one automated process.
Yeah.
So it would maybe spin for a minute, but then you could basically go from credit card to Effect Network EFX on the V account, where you can buy tasks. That would just be one credit card transaction and then waiting for a minute for it to process. I do think we're getting there because the legalities are tricky, but companies like Stripe, MasterCard, they're really taking this on now to make sure that these solutions become easy for the consumer and also for companies to facilitate.
Yeah,
Right.
and even if you look
Makes
at
sense.
PayPal in the last 9 months has really worked hard to incorporate crypto. For
Except
use.
in Canada. Everywhere but Canada.
Yeah. So yeah, it's getting better. So while everyone else improves on that, on those fiat ramps and stuff, we'll just do our part and then probably pick a provider when we need to.
You need so much patience in this game. Things move quickly, but not fast enough. Not that it's a game, but But yeah, okay.
Speaking
Answers the
of which,
question.
what's the status of the bridge? Like, are you building the? I remember last DAO we talked about it.
So the bridge has been updated. It should be working properly now.
I meant more like along the fee. I think the idea was to build like a bridge for the low EFX amounts.
Yeah, so technically we updated the bridge and it's working again, but it has this big fee, which is still a problem. So yeah, we cannot use the bridge right now for small amounts because you will just, evaporate the amount because the fees are higher than what you're swapping mainly. But the current, like we are working on it. I think we've discovered that like atomic swaps is interesting and cool, but it's gonna take us too much time and distraction from building the more important platform features. So right now we're aiming towards launching a proposal, probably already for this cycle, on providing liquidity on both sides and just have once a cycle a swap happen, that people can do small transactions without paying a big fee. It will not solve though, like, yeah, people, requesters basically using Binance Smart Chain EFX to fund campaigns. So that part is still, I'm personally almost leaning towards encouraging people to use EOS more and more, and try to take that angle, because it's gonna take more effort than we expected to build our own bridge or to build our own atomic swap solution for small amounts. It's just tricky.
Yeah,
in
it feels like
a few.
we do want to focus on all these AI features and serving this community. It does feel like it's a distraction that was kind of thrust upon us.
Yeah, and maybe if we just encourage people to use EOS, especially on the requester side, and improving on fiat to crypto transactions, and using AI fund to basically to help people fund it, so they don't have to worry too much about EOS side. And like EOS is really still improving a lot on wallets, and there's like it's getting more convenient and more cheap really every day. So I have more, yeah, I'm more confident that EOS side will be the most convenient way to do this, instead of doing a bridge and the Binance Smart Chain side for using the platform. So maybe we should just go up right now with a solution, so workers can at least swap their EFX using like maybe once per cycle. We can help them swap it, and basically we cover the fees because we pull them together. I feel that will work, and it will solve the pain some workers have currently. It's only very few, so it's not even going to be, I think, too difficult to set up. And on the long term, maybe even phase the bridge out, or look at different ways, but mainly, get requesters to use EOS.
Yeah, exactly. I think, especially considering EOS does provide requesters a couple of more features compared to them using Binance wallets. We should encourage them to use EOS as requesters, and indeed, I don't think there's enough volume to justify really trying to build out that feature for having atomic swaps yet. It might come there someday, but at the moment it's not there, and I think indeed our time investment is better spent elsewhere.
Well, my personal opinion is that I remember when we started, having our token also on BSC, and I thought it was going to be good, and there was going to be a great community over at BSC and things. And if there was, maybe I missed out on some things, but my personal observations is that the EOS community is so welcoming. There's so much going on in it, and I would rather stay with an EOS side than explore anything on BSC. Even it's just I just don't feel like there's a lot of support or even interest with BSC, projects that run on BSC and stuff that we have like kind of anything in common with. But on EOS, there's so many amazing things, and I personally would rather see us just kind of get rid of the BSC stuff altogether. But that's just me speaking on my own opinion.
Well, I don't think we could even if we wanted to, because it's a pTokens thing. But when it was first done, the ENF didn't even exist, so it's more like the EOS community improved, while the Binance Smart Chain community kind of, I guess, didn't really change much in the years.
I think I would agree with that. The
Yeah.
EOS has been really improving.
Yeah, me too.
There are, I think, some, like I found this tool called Tor's protocol, which basically, from what I understand, you can basically, it checks if you have crypto in your wallet, and that if you have a sufficient amount, that means you are entitled to use like a model API for free. And they use Binance Smart Chain. And so I do think that there definitely could be some synergies with Binance Smart Chain applications. So I don't want to throw it out just yet, but it the bridge fee kind of just makes things annoying. I think we just need to just keep an eye out for crypto dApps related to AI, because I think they're the type that we can really kind of appeal to and maybe kind of work together with.
And I think the Binance Smart Chain side does have. I think you're absolutely right that like when we moved to Binance Smart Chain, EOS was sort of dead and dying a bit, and this changed because the ENF got put together, and there's a lot being built on EOS right now. So I think it makes really sense to embrace it and to also encourage it because it's going up. Binance Smart Chain is also not being growing at all. So yeah, absolutely right. I do think the liquidity that PancakeSwap provides, and there's a lot of traders on Binance Smart Chain. So I don't think there's a lot of AI scientists building data sets on Binance Smart Chain, but there's a lot of people trading, and that gives the liquidity to the token that has some value. So I don't think shutting it down would even be possible, but also not necessary. But for us as a project to really encourage people to stay on the EOS side or come over to the EOS side, and I mean, I love that, for example, EOS support is getting so much funding and growing, so we can really these facilities really help users to onboard and learn the tools and to get started on EOS becomes. I think it's gonna become a lot nicer than it was 2 years ago. So that's a good thing for us, and maybe the bridge we should just encourage people to only use it for big amounts, or it's not super convenient, and for users on the platform, they should probably use EOS for working and posting tasks.
Yeah, it seems
I think
like
that
for
makes sense as a
everything.
story.
The Binance Smart Chain is good for getting your feet wet, but if you want to like do anything substantial, like you're gonna have to move and migrate to EOS.
And you suggested last time, and I think it's a cool idea, definitely doable, where you basically work on a hot wallet or on a Binance Smart Chain key, earning your first EFX, and then we will provide this really convenient way where you can use your earnings to convert it to an EOS account. Which, I mean, it doesn't cost that much at all, maybe $1 or something. So you could convert that and create your EOS account from within Effect Network. I think that would make the onboarding experience very convenient for people, and it's very doable as well technically in our systems.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, like now that we have a sizable pool on DeFi box, I think all that can be done. Like the you can now exchange the EFX to EOS like automatically. Yeah, I think that would definitely help out a lot. And then same with that, like once there's time to do it, I imagine maybe the same can be done for Binance Smart Chain as well, where you could just pay some EFX. Like if you could pay EFX on one side and then it generates an account for you, but it just uses a different pool of EFX, and then you can use an EOS wallet.
Yeah, definitely. We can consider like even we can see even if people have some EFX there, it is almost like also a bot protection because providing free EOS wallets for users wouldn't even be too much of an issue as long as it's not being abused by bots. So, and we are a human data annotation platform, so I think like we've had people having so many effects in their wallets would sort of allow us to do bot protection and provide free wallets or something. But yeah, there's more ways. I do
It
have.
doesn't even
It's
need to
already
be
done.
free. I mean,
drop.
as long as they can just pay whatever currency they have, right?
Yeah.
So if they can secure, if they can get if they have their EFX pTokens, they just pay to your service and then it generates an EOS wallet for them, and then they can like basically if we don't want to like have like a very like nice bridge, I think we still probably could use down the line just a service that helps migration be very easy. Because I think with EOS, the learning curve always starts with creating the wallet, right? Like for me, like it involved like going on some website and like you're kind of worried too. Like is this a legit site? Can I trust it? And then you either like use your credit card or you send it some crypto. It's kind of a hassle. So having a service will probably help a lot with migrating people to EOS.
Worker standpoint, you never want to have to pay to earn money, because that's the first rule that is a scam and whatnot. So for me, it would be great if you want to test it out. Here, create a hot wallet, start earning some EFX, do your qualifications, and then having the worker be able to convert what they've earned on the BSC side over to an EOS account. That would be great. However, and like Jesse says, it's easy. I would want it to be where they can keep their earned qualifications, because no one wants to then, okay, here's your EOS account, you log in, but then all your qualifications are on the one you used with BSC Hot Wallet. It's got to be able to also convert over as well.
Yeah, this wouldn't be like a restart of your account. It should just be changing the authority of your account, but keep your history and your qualifications there. That's a good point, but that should indeed be the how it works. It's past 6 already, and I really have to go. I'm already a bit late. We covered the agenda at least. Yeah, I think I have like a minute if anyone wants to.
Well, the last thing I can say is thank you for your donation to my Pomelo grant, and you too, Bree and Miguel. It's the last day, so
Yeah.
So hopefully
thanks for letting me know. I'll also quickly donate some.
Yeah, just in time.
Thank you, more.
Thank you for making the second iteration of the grant, because it's it's really cool, and the results you had in the last one were like really promising. So I'm happy you're making the progress and want to continue with it.
Yeah, I'll make sure to make the update so all the NFT collections we can use for the update you've shown us. You can search for them as well, like, and try to find like the image you like the most.
Yeah, amazing.
All right. Well, I guess I don't want to hold you any longer, Jesse. So till next time, then.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It was a good one. See you guys next time.
Nice chatting with you.
Ciao.
All right. So I think we covered everything. So I'll see you all.
Hey.
Oh, DJ, can I still donate? I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, there's 1 day left.
Okay, I'd do it.